Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, Captain Frugal reporting for duty, and I'm just going to do something a little different, a really lo-fi today. I'm recording this review of this issue on my phone. I've had this issue for a long time, and I've read this whole series, and I just sort of want to do some flashback reviews back before SJWism with Marvel. And this was Heroes for Hire, 1997. And at this time, the price point was $2.99 for this issue. And this is the first action-packed issue to combat an ancient evil. A new team of champions arise. Heroes for Hire. So let's take a look at this here. By the way, the cover, I like the cover. You know, it's the traditional with loaded with characters to show who's going to be in the book. As you see here, we got Hulk, Hercules, Iron Fist, White Tiger, Luke Cage before he shaved his head. This was a transition period for Luke Cage. From the 70s, they kept trying to, ever since then, re-up him and modernize him. They did the same thing with Iron Fist. They've tried to modernize him several times. So you see in this series several changes of how they look until now what they have their more solidified look now that they had after Bendis. And White and Black Knight's in this. Not in this issue, but he'll end up being in this series some too. So we go here and we get right away, got some Captain Crunch advertisements, but we jump in to here where they're going to be dealing with the vault. So we go here and they're taking in this prisoner, so it appears, and you find out it's all a setup, and it's the UFOs actually, and they're breaking in. What they're going to do is they went into the vault to release the villains out of the vault. Now notice the artwork here in this time period. I will say it's not my favorite artwork there, but I do enjoy it. So by the way, let's take a look at the credits here. By the way, look at that. The plot is by Roger Stern, but he didn't do the scripting. That's John Ostrander, and the script is, as you see here, and things are also, you know, just a little bit different, a fuller cast than usual. And there's the penciler too, just so you can see that. All right, so anyways, I said this isn't my exact favorite art form, but artwork, but it's doable, and it's not terribly bad. So anyway, the UFOs blow the vault, and they escape and let out all these villains. And then once again, some more advertising. All right, so here we go. So there's S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff taken care of. So anyway, after they leave, you see that White Tiger is actually monitoring the situation. But this is a new White Tiger. This isn't the past, one of the past. So this is going to give you some story development with that. All right, so then we do a flash into the antagonist here. That's going to be of the story. So this is going to be the guy that's going to be setting up the big picture plans that's going to be running through this series. And they're keeping him secretive at this moment. And you see he's definitely the leader of the situation. And so then we flash to Oracle in New York City, the skyscraper headquarters of Oracle Incorporated. Now, I just want to give everyone a question of the day. I know what the answer is, but if you know, PM me who owns Oracle at this time, okay? You might get a Frugal Force prize. So anyway, in Oracle, you've got Danny Rand, none other than the immortal Iron Fist, practicing, and I love that artwork there. It's showing how powerful he is, and he's practicing keeping focused as well as his technique as he monitors things on the monitors behind him. Right, and then we get an advertisement for Marvel Overpower. Is there anybody in the let me know in the comments if you ever played Marvel Overpower card game? I have. I actually have some of those, so I still have them. My wife and I played it together. Anyway, so he's here practicing, and it's giving you some updates and some of the information about Daredevil and things like that's going on. But then he hears about the Vault. This just in, the supervillain prison known as the Vault was attacked in the early hours of the day by unknown forces. Many, perhaps all of its inmates have escaped. Now, why this is, and this, by the way, catches him off guard and he gets hit. All right, so then he refocuses his chi and breaks that robot. And one point I really want to make a point of is this series here in 97 comes after the Onslaught event. So most of the big name heroes are all gone. And that's key there. And then we have this gentleman here, which is actually a robot, Jim Hammond. He's the first original Human Torch. And he's working for Oracle, okay, which is, Rand Meacham is a subsidiary of Oracle now. So that's another little tidbit of information that's good. Once again, leading to why I asked you that question of the day. who owns Oracle. So definitely don't forget that. Make sure you let me know in the comments. I know it if you get it right. Don't let me know in comments. I'm sorry, PM me. If you get it right, you'll probably get a special Frugal Force prize. Anyway, this is something I really want to point to. Here, I'm just avoiding my crotch here. I'm not. Oh, there's a little cough there. That should be good for a couple hundred subscribers, right? Diversity in comics. Anyway, it says people are pretty resilient, Danny. Still the loss of so many heroes during Onslaught. I've seen a lot of things in my time since I was the original Human Torch back in the 30s and 40s. People are used to heroes. People are used to heroes to inspire them, to rally them. People need heroes. You know, Marvel really needs to take a note of this and take a point into that. That's a good point. So anyway, Danny realizes that maybe he needs to generate a team. So then we flash to the Incredible Hulk, and the Hulk was actually also different during this time. Recent events have separated him from what was left of his humanity during this period of time. So now he's more ruthless and brutal. And so they show him he lands, and then all of a sudden he's attacked and can't breathe. So he jumps up, and then when he lands, boom, he crashes because he's getting attacked by the UFOs. Hulk, no matter how strong he is and things, still actually has to breathe. And if he didn't have time to get his breath, he can pass out. And that puts him in a bad position to get hit over the head by Ironclad. And he was attacked by none other than the UFOs. And what the UFOs were told is they have to capture him. Okay, let's win some more fun ads here. All right, so then after you see the Hulk is getting captured, we flash back to, here we are, the old movie theater, the Gem Theater. And if you don't know what that is, that's, if you remember the issues of Power Man, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, that's where he lived. Well, now at this point, Luke Cage has bought this theater, so he owns it. He scrapped up the money in there, and he's sitting there watching a movie. That's what he likes to do, and then pops in Iron Fist, talking to him, asking him if he wants to join the Heroes for Hire. He wants to start it up again. Well, unfortunately, Cage reminisces a little bit too about that, remembering their time together. And as much as he likes it, he decides to decline the offer. He doesn't want to, but he said to Danny Rand, Iron Fist, that he can take the name, though. He's fine with that. Now, even though he denies and doesn't take the offer to join the new Heroes for Hire, he's going to be throughout this series a lot, too. So anyway, he leaves, so Iron Fist leaves, and he notices, what am I going to do if I can't get my good old buddy Luke Cage to join me? Am I actually going to be able to put a team together? Shows a little worry. The writing in this is really quite good. This is clearly a setup issue. It's setting up a big plot, so, bear that in mind. Setup issues usually aren't as action-loaded necessarily. This one really has some good roots. It's setting up those roots. And so here we see that White Tiger is watching him and setting up a time that she wants to meet with him. So now we go here and we flash to the United Nations Plaza, where they're actually talking about and discussing the Onslaught issue and what they're going to do about that to prevent this kind of thing from happening again. And when that happens, boom, bursts in the UFOs. The UFOs bust in, and of course they brought the Hulk, which is now under mental control from a disc that's on the back of his neck. So now I turn this and look, this is how a lot of us, we do our comics, we do subscriptions. You can still subscribe, but unfortunately if you subscribe, you always get your comics later than the comic shops, and they usually come up through the mail all in bad condition. Even though how much poly bags and boards they put on, they're always beat up pretty good. And if this is like before the internet, buying them on eBay and stuff was huge and things like that, this is one of the ways you'd get your back issues if you missed issues. And you'd read this tiny small print. See here, like Deathlock, these issues here are for $1. And you'd pull that up and check them out. I bought a lot that way. So anyway, then we flash now to Hercules, okay, and he is in a trendy, fern-filled meat market that masquerades as a bar, and he's hitting on a chick right in front of his guy, and the guy's friend doesn't like it. It hits Hercules, and if you know Hercules, he loves women and he loves fighting. So, and he knocks those guys out. That guy out the window. The barkeep or the shop owner is not exactly happy with him, and he says, "Hey, I did you a favor. I stopped this fight." And he leaves the guy with a bunch of coins just to make up for it. And so there he is with the ladies, because that's Hercules. Hercules is awesome like that. And Hercules is talking to the ladies, reminiscing of his classic times and escapades with the Avengers. I mean, remember this outfit here? These are heroes, man. These are some classics. This is when they updated him a little bit more. And I believe they started having this in the 80s. So And notice here, Monica Rambeau, awesome character, one of the guys of Captain Marvel. Once again, Marvel's push for diversity. If they really cared so much about diversity, they wouldn't just push these characters aside. And that's what they did, because all they really care about is gimmicks to try to get short-term sales. If they really cared about these classic characters, they'd put more into them. So anyway, Hercules hears on a news report about the Hulk, and and they go, "Whoa, Hulk must be bad now." So he goes and rushes off to take care of the situation, because Hercules is always known to have been a bit brash. He's not a thinker. Whereas Danny Rand, and hears about this situation, he's going to be thoughtful and planned. He decides he's going to go without using the limo because it's faster, showing his acrobatic skills. He looks at schematics of the building and comes in, and he's going in smart. He's going to look at the situation. That's one thing I've always liked about Iron Fist. I don't think he was portrayed quite like this as well in the television series on Netflix. He's a thinker. He doesn't just rush in. He's not rash. So they got him a little bit wrong on the Netflix that way. So anyway, he's going in, and he thinks, hey, somebody's watching me. I'm not alone in here. And he discovers the White Tiger, because that's how great Iron Fist is. He's cool like that. She's like, I didn't even make any noise. How did you know? So anyway, he readies himself, and I love these kind of action scenes when they use this with a lighter shade to show the action. And they end up talking it out, and he realizes, okay, I need all the help I can get because I don't know what I'm getting into. So they're actually going to team up together to take on whatever the situation arises. So anyway, they go there, and they're listening, and they're planning, and they find out it's the UFOs, and they realize, Iron Fist's like, I know these people. He knows they're tough. That's a tough team. Okay, and they have the Hulk, and he notices that too. So he knows they need to plan. But all of a sudden, before they can make a plan for their movement and what they're rushing in, good old Hercules busts through the wall, because that's the way Hercules is. Think second, hit first, which makes Hercules fun. And so immediately the UFOs start taking him out and beating him down a little bit, because, they are a powerful team. So Iron Fist realizes now's the time. So him and White Tiger jump in. White Tiger's got his back. Well, he's meanwhile is working on the Hulk to figure out what's going on with the Hulk. So he's talking with Hulk and notices something's not quite right and realizes there's that disc on the back of his neck. He can't just pull it off, so he summons the Iron Fist and breaks it off. Now, another thing a lot of people won't realize is over time, Iron Fist has developed his ability with the chi. He can use it more than once. He used to use it just once, and he was very weakened afterwards. He's gotten a lot more powerful since then in the books and can harness that chi and continue to fight on. So when he breaks it off, and now the Hulk's like, guess who's no longer under your control? So that's awesome, and he uses that good old classic thunderclap to dissipate the vapor character there. And Hercules punches Ironclad, sends him to the Hulk, but then the Hulk punches him too. Now, Hercules was hurt a bit, and they bring up another point. It says, Hercules, are you all right? I shall recover with time and drink, my friend, because, that's the way Hercules is. But they do mention that he's strangely weakened and slower to recover now, because during this period of time, his father stripped him of his immortality. Later on, he also becomes an alcoholic. So that's an issue with that too. So anyway, the UFOs take off and run away, and Iron Fist says it's best to stay and take care of, the people there. And also he realizes that, Hercules just isn't himself. He's disoriented. So he realizes there's something not necessarily right there. So then he goes to the news reports talking about that, the situation. And they notice that the discs tend to link themselves to this classic villain here, the Controller, sort of a mislead there for the people there, for the heroes, because he's not really the antagonist here at the moment. And he talks to Danny Rand. And this sets up the time when Danny Rand says, the Hulk was much a victim as the UFOs are. So he clears the Hulk. But this is also the time for him to announce a new team of heroes for hire. And that shows a couple of views like Spider-Man, because he's like, wait a minute, he's doing this just for charitable causes. He's going to go broke. So back at the fort, we have Mr. Jim Hammond there, the robot of Human Torch, and he mentions, Iron Fist, there's still really only one person. He goes, I think there's more than one. And he asks Hercules to join the team, and he agrees, and then White Tiger agrees to join as well. So then he says, I told thee, no woman can deny Hercules. Let's go forth and test our mettle and celebrate liberation, of course. This probably would never be allowed to happen in SJW Marvel now. Right? That man would have to be belittled. She would have had to done everything and made everyone look bad. And so that's the new formation. And then they break into where those discs came from and introduce the villain that's going to be throughout this series, the Master of the World. And notice in the background, he's got him. All right, so that was the first setup issue. And by the way, after that, then they give you some information about it, some nice little chat, and of course some advertisements. So overall, that's this issue. The artwork was pretty good. The story was pretty darn interesting. If you've never checked out this series, you might want to. I've actually read the whole series. It's not the greatest series, but it was worth a read. I thoroughly did enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this old school type of review here. A little throwback to diversity in comics, as you see my crotch here. So that should give me a couple viewers there added on for subscribers. So if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell for me, okay? If you want to really help me out, you can go to VidMe and subscribe there for as little as $1 a month, or even just give a one-time tip. And don't forget also our website, thehenchmanslounge.com. So until next time, keep it frugal.